Trick yourself to save more. In this video, I'm going to share with you tricks which you can use to save more money. But first, let me tell you a quick story of the richest man in Babylon, named Akkad, and how he was able to acquire such huge amounts of wealth over time. The rules of money and wealth creation have remained about the same since ancient times, and Akkad's teachings, even though they're 4,000 years old, are actually still applicable, even today. In the words of Akkad himself, I'll teach you his strategies, which you can use and implement to acquire great wealth for yourself. But before we continue, are you a subscriber? If not, what are you waiting for? Tap the subscribe button and bell notification icon so you never miss any of our videos. Story of Akkad, the richest man in Babylon. About 3,000 years ago, in the city of Babylon, on a sunny afternoon, a poor man called Bansir was sitting in front of his house on a low wall. That day, he was supposed to be creating a chariot to better deliver goods for his client and thus earn more gold for his family. However, Bansir couldn't focus on creating the chariot. His mind was somewhere else. He was feeling sad and depressed, and he kept pondering and thinking about something. His best friend Kabi, a musician, stops by to borrow 2 shekels from him. Bansir replies gloomily, "If I had 2 shekels," and informs his friend, "To no one could I lend them, not even to you, my best of friends. For they would be my fortune. No one lends his entire fortune, not even to a best friend." To which Kabi replied, "Then why don't you work on the half-built chariot today, so you can earn some shekels for your family?" Bansir tells Kabi that last night, while he was sleeping, he had a dream in which he was a very rich man and could afford all the nice things in life. He also gave a lot of money to the poor as well. However, the dream ended abruptly, and he woke up, and since then he's been sitting on this wall sulking. Bansir asks his good friend Kabi, "Have you wondered why we've worked our entire lives and earned a lot of shekels, but still we don't have 2 shekels between us?" After a minute or two of thinking, Kabi says, "Bansir, my friend, I have an idea. I passed our old friend Akkad on the streets today. His purse is never empty, and some even say that he is the richest man in Babylon. Let us go to him and ask for his advice. He can teach us how to always have a full purse, accumulate wealth, and how to keep our hard-earned shekels." The 2 men go to Akkad, who's very pleased to meet them. Akkad's a friendly person, and upon hearing the dilemma of his 2 friends, he's more than open to the idea of teaching them his ways of achieving financial independence. The first lesson that Akkad teaches is, start thy purse to fattening. Save at least 10% of your income. This sounds so simple, yet only a few of us really do this. The idea is that when you earn money, the first thing to do is pay yourself. You can do this by keeping 10% of those earnings, while you can spend the rest on your daily expenses, like your car insurance, mobile expenses, internet subscription, kids' college expenses, mortgage payment, and so on. For example, if you earn $2,000 a month after tax, the first thing you need to do is save $200. This is called paying yourself first. Before you pay any of your bills or shopping, you need to save at least 10% of your income. After doing this, then you pay your other bills. You see, you want to save first, because given the opportunity, our desires and undisciplined nature will quickly want to gratify our short-term needs and cravings and desires, like buying a new car or a new smartphone, or maybe shoes, or even expensive food, instead of fulfilling the long-term objective of achieving financial freedom. The second lesson that Akkad teaches is control thy expenditures. Every human being must live within his means. Yes, at times it will be difficult for you to control your urges to buy material things, like a new car, a new watch, fancy clothes, or an expensive vacation. Or maybe it could even be something simple, like buying takeout or a daily Starbucks coffee. You need to control these temptations and keep in your mind your long-term objective of achieving financial freedom. Many people often, when they get a raise at work, will immediately upgrade their standard of living, which is why at the end of the day, they have little to no savings. The rule of thumb when you get a raise is, forget it ever happened. Sounds weird, right? Well, if you mentally trick yourself into believing that you're still earning the same amount as before, you won't fall into lifestyle inflation. The third lesson by Akkad is, make thy gold multiply. Make your money work for you. Rich people put a lot of value on their time, and so they choose not to slave away their work hours like the rest of society. The rich know that there are only 3 ways in which you can earn money. You can either leverage your own time, someone else's time, or your money. Every person only has 24 hours in a day. So how much can one person really work and leverage his own time? The rich start making money and investing from a young age and make use of compounding interest. If you're interested in learning more about compounding interest, we've actually made a video that explains how your wealth can exponentially grow if you can harness its power. I'll leave a link to that video in the description. The fourth lesson is, guard thy treasures from loss. The first principle of making any investment is security of the capital and prevention of any loss. The penalty for greed and trying to make quick money is usually one ending up losing it all. So stay away from risky, get-rich-quick investments and go for those investments that promise an adequate rate of return. Losing money is a very terrible thing to do to yourself. Even that $1 could have made a huge difference in your life. Think of it in this way. If you initially have 100 gold coins and you lose 50% of it, so that now your investment is worth only 50 gold coins, how much profit do you now need to make to recover your loss? If you answered 50%, you're wrong. That's because now you will need to make 100% profit on the remaining 50 gold coins to bring your investment back to the original amount. Do you see how this works? So when Arkad says guard thy treasures from any loss, he knows what he's talking about. And this should actually be every investor's #1 rule: never lose money. The fifth teaching of Arkad is, make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Own your own home. It makes more sense to make payments that will eventually become equity, rather than giving rent every month to your landlord. When the payments for your property are made, and eventually you get full title and ownership of your home, you and your children will have the peace of mind that no matter how hard life gets, you'll always have a roof over your heads which you own. Arkad's sixth lesson is, ensure a future income. Provide in advance for your lean years and your family. This boils down to retirement planning and insurance. It's nice to know that you will always have a steady stream of income once you retire. So, start planning for that income from today. The seventh lesson from Arkad's lecture is increase thy ability to earn. Always seek to learn more and become wiser, which will help you financially. Position yourself to make more money by improving your skills and making yourself more employable. Train yourself, go to classes, take jobs on the side. Whatever you choose, set specific and measurable performance goals and start working to earn more money. So hopefully by now, Arkad's teachings should have made you realize the importance of savings and the do's and don'ts that go along with it. However, knowing that savings and investments matter is only half the battle. The other half is implementing his teachings in real life. Do you find it hard to save your income? Do you have mounting credit card bills? Is your expenditure more than your income? If the answer to all these questions was a resounding yes, don't worry. We have some tricks and tips that could help you save more of your income. Tip number 1. Automate your savings. The simplest way to do this is to set up an automated savings plan. You can configure your bank account in such a way that the moment your paycheck is received in your account, 10% of it is automatically transferred to another savings or investment account. Tip number 2. Increase savings incrementally. Once you're on an automated savings plan, the way to really build your savings is to increase those savings by 1% every 6 to 12 months. For example, if you're setting aside 10% of your paycheck, reset it to increase by 1 to 2% the following year, and every year thereafter. Tip number 3. Bank your bonuses. The trick is to rewire your brain to think of a bonus as extra money. Anytime you get a raise at work, a year-end bonus, a cash reward, or any other type of financial gift, put it immediately in your savings or investment account. As Arkad puts it, pay yourself first and control thy expenditures. Tip number 4. Name your account. If you give your savings or investment account a name, like Financial Freedom or Paris Vacation, or perhaps even the American Dream Home, you might find yourself hitting your savings targets more often than before. This kind of goal-based savings approach is also called mental accounting in behavioral finance. Tip number 5. Make access to your funds difficult. Convenience is great, but it does not allow you to achieve your long-term objectives. Most funds allow you to access your capital 24/7. However, being able to access your money so easily can be dangerous for some people with bad spending habits. One option is to put a maximum withdrawal limit to it. Another approach could be to delete the smartphone app, telephone number, or web page that you access the account from. Tip number 6. Start a savings competition. Find a friend who wants to save his money just like you. Set targets and goals together for each to achieve. Compare your performance with that of your friend every week. The more frequent you compare your savings, the higher your motivation to do better than them. Competition can be the best form of motivation. Tip number 7. Visualize your future self. Research has shown that creating mental images of yourself doing something actually shapes your brain's processes, much in the same way as actually doing something does. Visualizing yourself as a good saver who achieves their financial goals can help you take the actions necessary to actually do it. These are some tips and tricks I would urge all of you to try. If something else works for you better, maybe try that. Every person's psychology is different, and you'll have to find something that works for you. Whatever trick or strategy you use, the ultimate goal is to save more. Best of luck on your path to financial freedom, and happy savings. And with that said, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.